Coming up right now on Art Rocks, South Louisiana artist Carol Hallock shows us how she finds inspiration for twin passions, painting and the state's unique landscapes, all in the bayous of southeastern Louisiana.
I paint in a loose style, which actually means there's less detail. A lot of details left out so that the viewer will fill in the blanks.
The transformation of ballet.
He has a really special way of making it feel like this community and this play and really feeling like we're humans who are dancers.
And an astonishing profusion of birds at LSU. That's all right about now on Art Rocks.
Like the impulse that drives an artist's creativity, Georgia Pacific's 850 Louisiana employees are driven to produce quality paper products for your home and business. Georgia Pacific is proud to support LPB and Art Rocks.
And by Lamar Advertising Company, proud to support the arts and Art Rocks. Headquartered in Baton Rouge, Lamar's 461 Louisiana employees have been helping brands and businesses reach their customers creatively for over 100 years.
Art Rocks is made possible by the Foundation for Excellence in Louisiana Public Broadcasting and by viewers like you.
Hello and thank you for joining us on Art Rocks with me, James Fox Smith, publisher of Country Roads magazine. Let's start amongst the waterways of St. Tammany Parish, where you'll find Carol Hallock in her studio on the banks of Bayou Lacombe. From that vantage point, Carol finds inspiration just a few paddle strokes away, setting out in her kayak to experience Louisiana's unique landscapes. Right from the waterline, here's Carol to tell her story.
I paint in a loose style, which actually means there's less detail. A lot of details left out so that the viewer will fill in the blanks. And that kind of makes you feel more involved in the painting. I think it talks to you more, almost expressionistic, because I try to get a mood in the painting. I want the viewer to look at it and feel something happy or peaceful. I paint mostly Louisiana because it's who we are, it's what we are, it surrounds us. They always say paint what you know, and that's very, very true. I started painting what I know, and it's what they know, and it's what you know that attracts you. A friend of mine painted a scene that I went by every day. Didn't care anything about it. She painted it and I saw it in one of the city hall buildings. And I said, I know exactly where that is. I love that. It's been at least 10 years now. Every time I go by that scene, I love it. And I didn't care at all before. So that's what art does to you. It makes you see things in a new way. My New Orleans paintings, I don't live there, so I'm a tourist. I go over there and it's fun, it's bright, it's cheerful, so my paintings depict that. They're happy. And to help create that happiness, I paint the whole thing in red, and that forces bright colors. Love doing the plein air. It's actually what made me get my loose style, because I paint for what I see right now. Some plein air painters, they'll paint for what's coming. They'll put their darks down, and then towards the end of the day, they'll put all their color in, the special color. But I paint what I see right now, and the light and color changes every 10, 20 minutes. And so you have to just really slap that down. You have to simplify, and it comes out with a cleaner look. You can see a style difference. You can see the strokes, the energy in it. If you're painting on site, you can focus on what is attracting you, not what's attracting the camera. And plus you're trying to turn everything into kind of a 3D on your canvas. So you're looking at a 3D, trying to make it 3D, whereas with a photo, you're looking at 2D, trying to change it to a 3D. Everyone that's got an egret in it is called Geraldine this, Geraldine's grocery shopping, making groceries, whichever. So I get kind of a lot of fun out of her. And she's peaceful and beautiful, very soft. I do enjoy painting people, and what I find really interesting is the posture of a person. You don't have to put the detail, you don't have to put the face in there, but just their posture can tell a story. And I find that really interesting. You can tell it their age, their feelings. I enjoy painting portraits of my family from old photographs. I have a photograph of my dad that it was a little bitty black and white that when I was a kid I saw in the attic, and about 30 years later I finally painted it, and it's the little boy with his stomach stuck out. I enjoy doing beach scenes. Yeah, it's really everything that talks to me. I love the beaches, the salt in the air. Yes, you can smell the wind, the waves, the sound, and you try to recreate that. It's just anything that talks to me. If I'm in my car, it's anything that catches my eye, anything. If I go for that second look, that's a painting. And of course I can't paint it then, maybe I'll take a picture of it. And it's just anything that's attractive, anything with good light, anything with good color, composition. I can go straight down the road, down to Lake Pontchartrain. There's a marsh on both sides with my car, and it's all there. It's all there. But the boat ride's fun. Usually if I'm taking a boat ride, I'll take my camera, and it's whatever catches my eye. That's that painting. I try to use the color wheel. I learned from a mentor friend a really long time ago. She was very much into color, and to me the sky was blue and the grass was green. And she taught me that there are other things to see. You go around the color wheel to get your colors. Instead of using white, you pick up a color. So if my item is a red apple, if I want to do the highlights, you go to orange and yellow for the highlights instead of white. And if you want it darker, you'll go to purple and instead of black, and that gives it a real richness, real pretty color. It's a big difference. My painting's finished when I go, oh, when it talks to me. All of a sudden everything pulls together, and it just, I like it. When I feel that little thing in my gut, my painting's finished. Sometimes when you think a painting is, the color's dull, you know, the painting looks really dull. It's really the values are off. You don't have enough contrast. If you increase the contrast, the light's lighter, the dark's darker, all of a sudden your color works. And one way to determine whether it's the color or the values that are off, you can put on rose-colored glasses or a plastic film of red, and it turns everything one value. And if the values look good, then the color's the problem. And if the values look bad, it's the values, there's not enough contrast. I enjoy helping others with their painting and their marketing, because I remember the struggle. And it's always a struggle. It's something you just have to plug yourself and keep going. And the successes start to outweigh the no's.
If you're looking for opportunities to get up close and personal with the visual and performing arts, Louisiana never lets you down. Exhibit A is this list of just some of the festivals, concerts and exhibits headed your way in the weeks to come. To learn more about these and other events in Louisiana, pick up a copy of Country Roads magazine. Another resource, the Art Rocks website features every episode of the program, so just log on to lpb.org and follow the prompts. South Florida is another part of the country known for pushing beyond boundaries, and South Florida is where Justin Peck, resident choreographer with the New York City Ballet, is redefining expectations about ballet, both traditional and modern forms. Inspired by the unique urban neighborhoods of South Florida, Peck directed the Miami City Ballet to explore themes of street art and street dance. Let's take a look.
So tonight is an open bar series, which is our in-studio, up close and personal, very intimate setting performance. We're both, I think, a little nervous because we're going to be workshopping basically part of, or excerpts of, Justin Peck's new ballet called Heatscape.
And the great thing about this is that he's collaborated with a street artist named Shepard Fairey, who you can see all over Wynwood Walls and in many places. Actually in Miami, he's a phenomenal street artist. And the two of them, Shepard and Justin, have collaborated and they've come together. Shepard has created the backdrop for Justin's ballet, and Justin has created the choreography.
Art is for everyone, it's not just for the elite.
When I was first coming down to Miami to work with the company here, I started to explore the Wynwood Arts District, which has a really amazing street art scene. Like, it's such a mecca for that kind of artwork. And then I found that Shepard's work was really at the heart of everything that was going on there. And beyond that, I thought that Shepard's work could translate really well into a theatrical setting.
Justin was inspired when he saw Shepard's Fairey. There, as an artist, he had a reaction to Shepard's work, and that's the first thing you need when you're a choreographer specifically, because you want to be able to put that reaction or that relevancy actually on the stage. And the other thing that's interesting is that Justin is a ballet choreographer, Shepard is a street artist. One comes from a very traditional background in terms of an art form. Ballet has a lot of parameters, has a lot of protocol, it's about social manners, a lot of tradition. And street art is rogue, it's today, it's the latest thing that's happening. So to have these two art forms coming together from completely opposite sides of the railroad tracks actually is just very cool.
I think that dancers really appreciate having the choreographer's presence in the studio and demanding certain things from the dancer is something that they really value, and I'm able to use my outlook and my eye to bring out certain qualities within these dancers themselves. And so I think I'm able to kind of like harness their abilities and challenge them in a way that really excites them.
Yeah, and he's really specific about giving you certain analogies and certain details about the movement that kind of open your eyes and see it in a new way, so then you find yourself dancing in a new way. And I even see that when I watch other dancers do his work. I feel like I'm watching dancers for the first time, and I think that's something really special about his work.
I found them to be really inspiring. I think that they have a quickness and athleticism, and also a really nice sense of camaraderie amongst them that works in a company's favor to really produce great work.
One of my favorite things about working with him is his ability to use the entire company to feel so much like a team. Sometimes, when you're a principal dancer in the corps de ballet, you work a lot individually and then you all of a sudden come back together and you really don't interact as much. And he has a really special way of making it feel like this community and this play and really feeling like we're humans who are dancers.
I like the fact that I was able to give them a platform for them to express themselves, in regards to who they are, as opposed to them portraying a role.
Not so much, putting on the tiara and the tutu and doing what has been done in the past. And I think the whole company is feeling so energized by this process of working together to create something brand new.
There's like a life within it, there's like a vitality within the art form, and so I think this piece encapsulates a lot of that. I think there's a certain energy in the music and certain energy in the choreography, and something that's also brought out through the dancers themselves.
There are 3 movements to the ballet, and it's fun because Justin likes to use every dancer in all movements. So a lot of times in certain ballets, when you have a special part, you wait for the first and the second movement to go by, and then all of a sudden you have to go out and dance in the third. But I specifically have more to do in the third, and it's a lot of exciting turns and fun interacting with and weaving in and out of a group, and so it's challenging but very fun.
Heatscape is young, it's fast, it's edgy, but the interesting thing is that it's a classical vocabulary, so it's the same steps that you see in Swan Lake and Giselle. It's the same exact steps and shapes and gestures, but just in a very contemporary, modern format.
It's interesting to see how the ballet is developing, because we kind of don't know when it's a premiere of a brand new ballet where it's going to go. And I don't even know if Justin knew where he was going to go when he started.
Right.
So it's kind of fun to see how it evolves. Exactly.
One of the biggest challenges of working on this specific commission was kind of making sure it all comes together in the right way, and we're still kind of making sure that that happens. I'm really happy to be here working with Miami City Ballet, and I consider them to be one of the most exciting companies around today.
It's a very Miami piece, and that's what artists do. Artists take from their environment and they put it out in their art form. So I think it's going to be a direct connection. I mean, the curtain's going to go up, and I think people are going to feel the energy and the vibe of the city, but on the stage.
If you were handed a bunch of porcupine quills, what would you do with them? Fiber artist and native Minnesotan Mary Giles uses the quills, plus materials including metals and various kinds of fabric, to make earth-inspired sculptures that have been exhibited across the US and internationally. Have a look at these.
Inspiration is so precious. It'll come when you least expect it. So much of my work is environment, where I am, what's happening there. That's where I get my inspiration. If I'm scuba diving, I'm looking at those creatures. If my father gives me porcupine quills from our woods up north, I'm using those. I don't do shock value things. I'm not out to make big political statements. I think art should be beautiful. I think it should give you pleasure. When people ask me what I do, I say I'm a fiber sculptor, and I incorporate fiber and metals in my work. Over a period of 30 years or 35 years, my work has evolved. I began with my exploratory period when I was really trying out all the different techniques of basket making and found that coiling was the one I loved the most. I love the process of coiling. It is the most comfortable place. It's almost an escape from telephones ringing and having to do this and going there and just too much going on. And to get into my studio and just sit and coil and work on a piece is a lovely place to be. Years ago, I took a workshop from Diane Itter, who was a fiber artist who did flat pieces, but in knots and beautiful patterns of color. She said, develop a mystical symbol or an image and then repeat it many, many times. And that's when I started doing the porcupine quill pieces. That became my real identity, my real national identity, and that was recognized in my first museum purchase. I incorporate a lot of metals, either hammered metal or metal wire or found metals or manipulated metals in some way. This is where I do the torching of the metals. I use a MAP gas, which is hot enough to melt the copper and also to blacken and do gradations of the other metals that I use. All the materials are untreated so that they will, over time, oxidize. Copper darkens a bit. The rust may rust more. I'm also sort of celebrating aging of materials, and I think that that's something that can be very beautiful. Sometimes I make just all iron figures, iron armature wrapped with iron wire, and I leave them outdoors for a few weeks, and I get this nice rusty coating, and I use those in some of the pieces. Sometimes I need to varnish them a little bit with a wire brush and just loosen some of the oxidation, and then these pieces incorporate into other wall panels usually. The male figure appeared because it was part of the tribal stuff I was interested in. I've just stayed with that theme the whole way through. And then I say, of course, I like men, so that's okay with me too. But that isn't the idea. The idea is that they make an excellent symbol, because in so much tribal work, the male figure was rather dominant and the men were very dominant. But that isn't because I think they're dominant. I think it's just they make an interesting image. I know I get a lot of people going about men on them, and I'd like to be as neutral about that as possible, because I just think it's not a big deal. But maybe it is a big deal. In the summer of 2015, I had a very special exhibit at the Textile Center in Minneapolis. This was a retrospective of my work and about a 35-year career. It was wonderful to be able to pull all that much work together. I was surprised how different my work looked from early on to today. We do grow, we do evolve, hopefully improve in our work, and I hope mine reflects that too. Being recognized in your field is rare. There are many, many artists out there who get various ranges of success, but I feel very fortunate to have this work. I love doing the work so much. I think there's always a big idea just waiting to come along. I know they're out there. I haven't finished working. I'll work as long as I can. There's always the next thing.
This Louisiana treasure is a little-known bonanza of natural history nestled right under our noses. The LSU Museum of Natural History is home to one of the largest university-based collections of birds and bird DNA in the world, 173,000 specimens and counting. So here's just a glimpse of some of what you will find if you go there.
This is the George Lowry Gallery of Louisiana birds. There's one of every species that occurs in Louisiana here. But where we're going to go next is the research collection. That's where the real treasures are.
The 9th largest bird collection in the world, it now ranks 3rd among university-based collections, second only to Harvard and Michigan.
That is a huge wing.
Isn't that amazing?
It is.
Look at this. The
and
wingspan
I think it's
of
just
one
about
of
as
these
tall
birds.
as me.
I don't know who's this bigger. It's going to be a close call.
As if coming face to face with a giant monkey-eating eagle wasn't enough, I was even more shocked when Dr. Remsen revealed that.
The LSU Museum of Natural Science has the world's largest collection of bird DNA, 60,000+ samples.
But perhaps most astonishing is just how much bird data LSU has amassed.
I think we have more data on birds in this collection than any other collection in the world. This is the barbet family, and in this family is a species of bird that was discovered by one of our staff research associates, Dan Lane. He knew it was a new species of bird the minute he saw it.
I sat down with Dan, who revealed that his was a case of serious beginner's luck. Not only was it his first trip to Peru, but since he was recording bird sounds at the time, he happened to capture the whole thing on tape.
First you hear some sounds that the bird is making. They're barely audible.
Is this the barbet that we're hearing?
That really deep rumbling.
Only Harvard, Cal, Berkeley, and the University of Michigan hold larger college-based collections of birds. Let's wrap things up with some tunes from a musician who makes his home in Winter Garden, Florida. So long as he has a clarinet in his hands, Jaden Christopher Muench is equally at home playing pieces from the classical repertoire or stretching his creative muscles with jazz.
My name is Jaden Christopher Muench, and I'm a senior at West Orange High School. There's a feeling of relaxation when I play. It's like there's nothing else going on, and it's just me and the music. When I play, I kind of get in my own world. I don't really think about anything else that's going on at all. The concentration comes naturally because there's nothing else that's really important at that moment.
It's pretty much a once-in-a-career kind of a talent. You don't have students come along that can understand what you're presenting to them as quickly as he does, that work as hard as he does, and that then become as proficient as he is. And you hope you have students like that.
What I like about playing the clarinet is how I can hear myself with others and how the sounds interact. There's a feeling of wholeness when a sound comes together.
We don't have a lot of students that come along like Jaden because his love for music is evident, so it really becomes more of a collaboration than a teacher-student mentor kind of approach.
Playing music is a part of my life. It's not possible to let that go, and I'll be doing it until I die.
And that is that for this edition of Art Rocks. But remember, you can always watch episodes of the show at lpb.org/artrocks. And if you want more, Country Roads Magazine makes a great resource for getting connected with South Louisiana's unique cultural treasures, in print and online at countryroadsmag.com. So until next week, I'm James Fox Smith, and thank you for watching.